Hi, I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks for watching us tonight. The USA attacks Syria. That is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. Last night around 9 Eastern Time, 60 missiles were launched from American warships in the eastern Mediterranean Sea. 59 missiles hit their targets. The goal was to destroy an airbase from which Syrian planes recently dropped sarin gas on civilians, killing 30 children, and 20 women, according to the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights. According to reporting based on a variety of agencies, this is the fifth time at least, the fifth time, Syrian dictator Assad has violated the Geneva Conventions and used poison gas to kill civilians. Back in 2012, President Barack Obama threatened Assad.
The use of chemical weapons is and would be totally unacceptable. And if you make the tragic mistake of using these weapons, there will be consequences and you will be held accountable.
But Assad was not held accountable. Instead, the Obama administration did what it always did, talked, and announced a deal with the dictator. A fascinating footnote to that is that Susan Rice was on point alongside John Kerry.
We were able to find a solution that actually removed the chemical weapons that were known from Syria in a way that the use of force would never have accomplished.
With respect to Syria, we struck a deal where we got 100% of the chemical weapons out.
Obviously a false belief on Mr. Kerry's part. Now, for years, Assad has been protected by the Russians, who were warned the attack was coming last night so they can get their personnel out of the airfield.
Russia should be embarrassed and ashamed. They are the ones that are telling the world that there were no nerve agents, that there were no chemical weapons left. We know that for the better part of this year, Assad has been using chlorine bombs against the innocent civilians and population centers. And now yesterday, a couple days ago, a nerve agent, sarin. And so the Russians have been covering for Assad. And if it were not for the Russians, Assad would not still be in power.
That's true. Putin continues to prop up Assad while thousands of people die and at least 5 million Syrians, 5 million, are refugees. Most sane people support the missile attack last night. Sane is the key word here.
It doesn't make any sense for Assad under these conditions to all of a sudden use poison gases. I think it's zero chance that he would have done this, deliberately.
Former congressman apparently believing Assad was set up by someone. Now, the morality of the attack is certainly acceptable. When you have war crimes being openly committed, a noble nation will confront that. Unfortunately, noble nations are in short supply these days, and the USA is an exception to that. Also, America's national security is in play because poison gas can be used by terrorists. Assad has a very close relationship with Iran and Hezbollah. Once chemical weapons become acceptable, the world becomes a very dangerous place, more dangerous than it is now. Talking Points has said for years that Assad's air force should have been destroyed a long time ago, and NATO should have established safe zones inside Syria to protect the innocent. Under President Obama, none of that was remotely possible because of his strategy of retreat. But now, the new president, Donald Trump, is sending a message to the world. USA will not tolerate war crimes from nations like Syria. The downside is, for every action, there's a reaction. So security is heightened here in the USA as we become an even bigger target for evildoers. Summing up, America was justified in destroying the Syrian airport. Rogue nations should be dealt with by the world. But if they are not, the lone superpower has a responsibility. Even most of the Trump haters in Congress agree that if we can stop children from being gassed to death, we should do so. And that's the memo. Now, for the top story reaction at this hour, joining us from Palm Beach, Florida, where he's covering President Trump's meeting with the Chinese leader, John Roberts. So, I understand that President of China has departed Mar-a-Lago. What's going on there now?
He left this afternoon, so the president is just having a typical Friday night. He's going to spend the rest of the weekend here. But the president, Bill, I'm told, is feeling pretty good about what happened last night. He thinks that the military did a terrific job. Well, one cruise missile fell into the sea. 59 of the 59 remaining hit their marks, and he is praising the military, at least to his staff and to his friends, saying that they performed marvelously here. And he's also very happy to see, for the most part, what the international reaction is, though he does know know that there's a couple of members of Congress, Bill, who were saying he should have come to them, but he feels like he's on absolute firm ground here because, as he pointed out last night, this was a matter of urgent national security for the United States, because I'm told that the president believes that if Bashar al-Assad were to be able to do this and not suffer some consequence for it, that would almost normalize, at least in that area of the world, the use of chemical weapons, and therefore might come back to bite the United States at one point if somebody decided, well, if Bashar al-Assad can use chemical weapons, well, maybe we can use chemical weapons against the United States.
Okay.
So that's the case.
I got a number. I need rapid-fire answers here. The Chinese foreign minister said that they shouldn't have done it. You know, everybody should calm down. Was there anything coming out of the president talking with Mr. Trump today on the missile attack? Anything at all? Any utterance?
Well, there wasn't any public utterance, but I'm told, Bill, that the White House believes that it was a pretty impressive show of force that the president put on last night to his Chinese counterpart, and that will probably be taken back to Beijing and then sort of churned into that whole pot with North Korea, where it might give Xi Jinping something else to think about leaving Mar-a-Lago here in terms of his relationship with North Korea and President Trump's requests for China to lean on North Korea. It's kind of like if they can do it in Syria, what might they do in North Korea?
Did we get anything from North Korea? Was there any pronouncement made about better cooperation from China? Did they say anything?
No, they didn't say anything that there was any agreement to do it. It was discussed, you know, obviously that this is
we don't have any,
we
don't have any joint
that will go on
statement
in the future, but no concrete joint statement on that. No, but what we were told, though, by Secretary of State Rex Tillerson, that he's very disappointed with the Russian response to all of this because, according to Rex Tillerson, he said that this means that Russia's still in the camp of Bashar al-Assad. He said he's disappointed, but he's not surprised to hear what he's heard out of Russia. But he's going there next week to meet with Sergei Lavrov, so he'll clearly take the message back to say, look, this is how we're going to deal with this guy in Syria, and if you want to continue to deal with Bashar al-Assad, this is going to put you on the wrong side of history.
All right, John, we appreciate it very much. Thank you. Now let's bring in Fox News Chief Intelligence Correspondent Catherine Herridge, joins us from Washington. So doesn't seem to be any Chinese reaction in the sense that sometimes after a meeting, a day-and-a-half meeting, there's a joint statement. We didn't get any joint statement. Putin postures behind the scenes. Oh, he's moving a carrier in or something. But is there anything serious reaction tonight?
I wouldn't say serious reaction, but I would say the leading edge of this investigation right now is into whether Russia had some kind of role, Bill, in this chemical attack earlier this week, and whether a second strike on that town in Syria was really an effort to destroy evidence and be part of a larger cover-up of that crime. And that is really where military intelligence is focused tonight.
All right. Now, they had a drone, I understand.
Correct.
Russian drone over the area where the chemicals were dropped and killed the children. And then a Russian bomber bombed the hospital where civilians were taken. That's what we're talking about tonight?
Yeah, that's right. There was a drone that was immediately over the site where the sarin gas was released. And then about 4 or 5 hours later, when the victims had been taken to the hospital, another drone showed up. And then shortly after that, there was a military strike on that hospital. And the people I'm talking to tonight say that that fits a pattern that they have seen before with the Syrians especially, and possibly in this case the Russians, that they wanted to destroy evidence at that hospital.
And the Syrians don't have any drones.
Exactly.
And we can ID drones anyway. So there were Russian drones in that area. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Now, the Ron Pauls of the world say, oh, no, this is how solid is the evidence that Assad killed these 20 children with poison gas?
We really have a tight lock on this intelligence. I was told by my contacts that we have very high confidence, and there were multiple streams of information from overhead imagery to radar, from information gathered by our partners in the region. And today they released a graphic that showed radar information, and you can see these Syrian government jets over the site of the attack twice within a 9-minute time slot, which is exactly when the sarin gas was released. So there's really no doubt.
Okay. There is always doubt among those who will not believe, no matter what you present to them. Iran has been strangely silent about this. I haven't heard any saber rattling. Have you?
No, I have not, and that is in some ways a little bit more worrying. What
that's bizarre.
What you don't know, right?
Right.
One of the options for possible retaliation that was considered when they were planning this whole thing out was that Syria and Iran would use their proxy, Hezbollah, to launch attacks on Westerners, sort of that third-party retaliation. We have not seen that yet, but that was at least an idea that was on the table, Bill.
Do we have any information in the Swedish attack? Again, President Trump made that a centerpiece, that Sweden was destabilized by all these Muslim refugees pouring into the country. Country reacted vehemently against President Trump, but now we have looks like a terror attack in Stockholm, right?
Well, that's right. Today, a truck was hijacked, and then it was driven right into this department store in central Stockholm. Really at the height of rush hours, people were getting ready for the weekend, and this sadly fits a profile that we've seen mostly with ISIS or self-radicalized Al-Qaeda followers, and they're using trucks and cars
to kill people.
As
and the guy got away, right?
Well, actually, late today, they took one suspect into custody who claimed that he was responsible, but we haven't been able to independently verify whether his claims are accurate. But this is a very frightening thing, because these are the types of plots, as you know, Bill, that are almost impossible to disrupt, and they go right to the heart of the economy and also people's just sense of morally what's right. I mean, it's so offensive.
All right, Catherine, we appreciate it as always.
Thank you.